The biggest mistake that kills guys' conversations is stacking questions one after the other. Hey, what's your name? What do you do? Where do you work? Do you like it? How long you been doing that? So in this video, I'm gonna give you 3 specific techniques that are completely different and way more powerful. Not the generic advice, just tell her about yourself first. I'm talking about actual techniques you can use today that will instantly change how your conversations feel. But first, we need to understand why stacking questions kills everything. And it's not because questions are evil. The problem is the energy behind them. Think about it like this. Imagine you're in a good mood, you're having a great day, and someone comes up to you, depressed, saying something like, hey, can you make me feel better? Can you entertain me? You'd be like, hell no, entertain yourself. Well, that's kind of how it feels from the girl's perspective when you go in and start peppering her with questions. It feels like you're holding an empty bucket and expecting her to fill it. She can just feel that you're just asking questions because you have nothing else to say and you're trying to survive the silence. So here are 3 techniques you can use to completely turn this around. So technique number 1 is assumptions. And you probably heard about this one before, but the problem is that most guys, they completely mess it up by just being too basic and way too predictable. And before I reveal to you that mistake, first of all, what even is an assumption? So assumption is basically when you state something about her instead of asking her directly. Now here's where most guys mess it up. They keep it way too simple. For example, you say, you look like you just came from the gym. Okay, that's technically an assumption, but it's very flat and you're still kind of making her do all the work. She'll just say, yeah, I did. And then what? You're back to asking questions. Instead, you want to make the assumption vivid and specific. For example, you look like you just came from the most exhausting workout of the entire year. Like you broke your personal bench press record and now you're pretending that you're not tired but actually exhausted. That's completely different than just you saying, hey, you look like you came from the gym. Now she has something to react to. She can correct you or play along. She can say, first of all, I don't even bench press. Or, well, it wasn't that intense, but yeah, I'm trying to get back into my gym routine. Good assumptions, they create images and sort of open doors, while basic assumptions, they just lead back to yes or no answers. So if you're gonna use assumptions, don't be lazy with them. Make them specific, make them playful, and give her something interesting to respond to. Technique number 2 is what I like to call, you know what's interesting move. This is where you kind of step outside of the immediate details of the conversation and comment on the moment itself. So instead of talking about her job, her hobbies, or other surface level stuff, you zoom out a little bit and say, you know what's interesting, and then you describe what's happening right now. So for example, let's say you're in a loud bar and you say, you know what's interesting, here we are, you and me talking in this very loud bar. There are all these people around us and somehow it feels like, we've met before. I don't know why, but it feels very familiar. Now, obviously, this is gonna feel uncomfortable for a lot of you logical men because you saying this, it's not logical. It's slightly irrational on purpose. And that's exactly why it works. Because now she has 2 options. She can lean into that frame and say, yeah, you know what? I don't know. I kind of feel it too. Or she can tease you and say, man, are you on drugs? What are you talking about? Either way, it breaks the boring pattern of question, answer, question, answer. All right, now let's go to the technique number 3. And this is something I almost honestly never see guys use. You literally just give her a small directive, a mini order, if you will. So instead of asking, so what do? You say, tell me what you do. I'm curious. Or tell me more about your work. Feel the difference? You're basically leading, you're showing that you're not afraid to say what you want to know. For example, let's say that she just says, yeah, I go to the gym sometimes. You can say, okay, go on, tell me more. She gives you more information and more material to work with. And the more material she gives you, the easier it is for you to now make more assumptions, tease her based on that material, or just jump topics. And these techniques that I just displayed, they are just the foundation. And once you master the foundation, the next level is flirting. That's where it stops feeling like a polite conversation and starts feeling like a real man-to-woman dynamic. And if you want to learn 3 flirting techniques that I personally use all the time, I made a full video breaking them down. And I'll link it right here so you can go watch that next. And if you incorporate everything that we've talked about and I just told you, your conversations will be much more playful, much more interesting, and women will have much more fun when talking to you. So go watch that video right here.